and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. How many times have you let someone's words or actions ruin your entire day? How often do we give away our peace, our happiness, just because of what someone else said or did? Think about it. Someone cuts you off in traffic and suddenly your mood is spoiled. A rude comment from a colleague and now you're frustrated for hours. Someone doesn't appreciate your efforts and it eats you up inside. But here's the truth. No one can make you angry. No one can disturb your peace unless you allow them to. And today I am here to tell you, you never have to feel that way again. Because the moment you take control of your emotions, the moment you stop reacting to every little thing, you unlock a freedom that no one can take away. And if you stay with me till the end of this speech, I promise you will walk away with the power to never be bothered by anyone again. No one can make you angry. No one can force you to be upset. Your reaction is entirely your choice. Think about it. How many times have you let someone's words or actions dictate your emotions? Someone makes a rude remark and suddenly your mood shifts. A friend forgets to call and now you feel ignored. A stranger cuts you off in traffic and your entire day is ruined. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why am I letting this affect me? Why do we give others so much power over our emotions? The truth is, most of us have been conditioned to believe that our feelings are a direct result of what happens around us. If someone is kind, we feel good. If someone is rude, we feel bad. If things go our way, we are happy. If they don't, we are frustrated. But in reality, our emotions are not controlled by external events. They are controlled by our response to those events. And the moment we understand this, we take back the power that we have unknowingly given to others. Imagine you are holding a cup of coffee. Someone bumps into you and the coffee spills everywhere. Now ask yourself, why did the coffee spill? The obvious answer is, because someone bumped into me. But the deeper truth is, because there was coffee in the cup. If tea had been in the cup, tea would have spilled. If water had been in the cup, water would have spilled. What's inside you is what spills out when life shakes you. If frustration is inside you, frustration spills out. If anger is inside you, anger spills out. If peace is inside you, then no matter who bumps into you, peace is what will spill out. The key to never getting angry or bothered with anyone is realizing that it's not about them, it's about you. The person who upsets you is just a trigger. They are revealing what is already inside you. If someone calls you lazy and you get angry, it is because deep down, you either fear that it might be true or you have unresolved emotions attached to that word. If someone ignores you and you feel hurt, it is because you already have a wound that makes you feel unimportant. Other people do not create these emotions in you. They simply reveal what is already there. Once you realize this, you will stop seeing people as enemies and start seeing them as teachers. Every difficult person you encounter is showing you something about yourself. The person who makes you feel small is reminding you to strengthen your confidence. The person who criticizes you is teaching you not to seek validation from others. The person who tries to make you angry is giving you a chance to practice self-control. Life is constantly giving us lessons, but most people never learn them because they are too busy reacting instead of reflecting. There is an old story about a monk who was once insulted by a man. The man shouted at him, called him names, and tried to provoke him. But the monk just stood there, calm and unbothered. The man finally asked, "Why are you not angry?" The monk smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man replied, "To the one who offered it." The monk nodded and said, "Then why should I accept your anger?" That story holds a powerful lesson. Just because someone is offering negativity does not mean you have to accept it. You do not have to pick up every burden that is thrown at you. The next time someone tries to hurt you with words, imagine their words as a gift you don't want. If you don't accept it, it stays with them, not you. Most of the time, the people who upset us are not doing so intentionally. They are acting based on their own fears, insecurities, and emotions. A rude cashier might be dealing with personal struggles. A friend who ignores your messages might be struggling with their own thoughts. A stranger who insults you might be carrying pain from their past. When we take things personally, we assume everything is about us. But in reality, people's actions are a reflection of their inner world, not ours. This is why emotional intelligence is so important. Emotionally intelligent people do not let others control their feelings because they understand that people's words and actions are often about them, not about you. They don't react to negativity because they know that responding with anger only gives power to the person trying to provoke them. Instead, they remain in control of their emotions, choosing peace over unnecessary conflict. One of the most powerful skills you can develop is the ability to pause before reacting. When someone says something hurtful, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Is this going to matter in a week? Do I really want to give this person control over my emotions? Most of the time, the answer will be no. And when you master this, you will find that nothing and no one can disturb your peace. Imagine walking into a room full of people, each carrying a mirror. Some of these mirrors are clear, reflecting an honest image of who you are. Others are distorted, showing you a version of yourself that isn't real. Now, imagine basing your entire self-worth on what these mirrors show. Some days you feel confident because the reflection is flattering. Other days you feel insecure because the mirror distorts your image. But here's the truth. You are not what others see. You are what you believe about yourself. Too often we let people's opinions define us. Someone calls us unworthy and we start questioning our value. Someone criticizes our efforts and we begin doubting our abilities. Someone ignores us and we feel invisible. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why am I letting someone else decide how I feel? Why do we allow people who don't even truly know us to shape our emotions, confidence, and peace of mind? The problem is not what others say, it's what we believe about what they say. Imagine two people receiving the same insult. One laughs it off as nonsense, while the other feels deeply hurt. Why does the same comment affect them differently? It's because the second person has a wound that the words have touched. If someone calls you a failure and it hurts, it's not because of their words, it's because deep down there is a part of you that fears it might be true. But when you are secure in who you are, no words can shake you. We live in a world where everyone has an opinion and not all of them are kind. There will always be people who misunderstand you, criticize you, or try to bring you down. That's just a part of life. But their words only have power if you accept them. If someone handed you a poisoned drink, would you take it just because they offered it? No. Then why do we so easily consume people's negative words and let them poison our minds? The moment you learn to reject negativity the same way you would reject poison, you become untouchable. Every person who crosses your path is fighting their own unseen battles. The rude colleague, the impatient driver, the unkind stranger. Each of them is carrying burdens you may never understand, and more often than not, their behavior has nothing to do with you. When people lash out, it's a reflection of their inner struggles, not your worth. Yet we often take these encounters personally, believing they are an attack on us. But in reality, they are simply echoes of someone else's pain. Have you ever seen someone push away the very people who care about them or hurt others because they themselves are hurting? This is why understanding others is the key to never being bothered by them. When you realize that people's actions are a reflection of them, not you, you stop reacting with anger and start responding with understanding. Instead of asking, why are they treating me like this? Ask, what pain are they carrying that makes them act this way? This simple shift in perspective can free you from taking things personally. There's an old saying, hurt people hurt people. The ones who criticize the most are often the ones who feel the most insecure. The ones who judge harshly are usually those who fear judgment themselves. And the ones who try to make others feel small are often battling feelings of inadequacy. When you recognize this, their words and actions lose their power over you. Instead of reacting with anger, you start seeing their behavior for what it truly is, a sign of their own inner struggles. This does not mean you have to tolerate mistreatment. Setting boundaries is essential, but it does mean that you do not have to carry the burden of someone else's negativity. You do not have to engage in every argument, respond to every insult, or prove yourself to every critic. Some battles are simply not worth your energy. Learning to walk away from negativity is not weakness, it is wisdom. Think of your mind as a peaceful garden. Every negative thought, every criticism, every moment of anger is like a weed trying to take root. If you allow these weeds to grow, they will eventually overrun the garden, choking out the beauty that once flourished there. But if you learn to remove them before they take hold, if you refuse to give negativity a place in your mind, your peace remains untouched. People often believe that peace comes from changing external circumstances, avoiding difficult people, fixing every misunderstanding, or waiting for the world to be kind. But true peace comes from within. It is not about controlling what happens around you. It is about mastering how you respond. When you reach this level of understanding, no insult, no criticism, and no negativity can shake you. You will finally be free. Imagine waking up in the morning feeling absolutely calm and at peace. You go about your day encountering all kinds of people, some kind, some indifferent, and some rude. But no matter what they say or do, your peace remains untouched. No insult can provoke you, no criticism can shake you, and no negativity can pull you down. Sounds impossible? It's not. This level of unshakable peace is not something given to a lucky few. It is a state of mind that anyone can develop, and it all begins with mastering your emotions. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to let someone ruin your day? Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic and you carry that frustration for hours. Perhaps a coworker makes an unnecessary comment and suddenly your whole mood shifts. Or maybe a family member says something that gets under your skin and you find yourself replaying their words over and over. But if you think about it, what really happened? Did their words or actions physically harm you? No. The only thing that happened was that you allowed their negativity to enter your mind. The problem is not the external event, it's your reaction to it. And the moment you understand that your reactions are entirely within your control, you unlock a power greater than anything external circumstances can throw at you. Think of your mind as a still lake. When nothing disturbs it, the water remains calm and clear, reflecting the world beautifully. But the moment someone throws a stone into the lake, ripples form, and the reflection becomes distorted. Now, if you were that lake, wouldn't it be better to remain undisturbed, no matter how many stones people throw? The truth is, people will always throw stones. Some will do it unintentionally, while others may do it deliberately. But you have a choice. You can either let those stones create endless ripples, disturbing your peace, or you can remain still, unaffected by the disturbances around you. One of the biggest reasons we get affected by people's words and actions is because we seek validation from them. We want to be liked, we want to be understood, and we want to be respected. And when we don't receive that validation, we feel disappointed, hurt, or even angry. But here's the question: why are you seeking approval from people who may not even understand your journey? Why do their opinions carry so much weight in your mind? The moment you stop looking for external validation is the moment you free yourself from being emotionally controlled by others. Another reason we let people affect us is because we take everything personally. If someone is rude to us, we assume it's about us. If someone ignores us, we feel unimportant, but in reality, people's actions are almost never about us. They are about them. A person's behavior is a reflection of their internal world, not yours. If someone is bitter, it is because they are carrying bitterness inside. If someone is cruel, it is because they have wounds they have not healed. When you understand this, their words and actions stop feeling like personal attacks. You begin to see them for what they truly are, expressions of their own inner turmoil. There's a simple practice that can help you master this mindset. The next time someone tries to provoke you, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this about me or is this about them? More often than not, you will realize that it has nothing to do with you. The anger, the negativity, the criticism, it all comes from within them. And if it comes from them, why should it disturb your peace? Have you ever noticed how a truly happy person rarely tries to bring others down? People who are at peace within themselves have no desire to create chaos around them. But people who are struggling internally often spread their negativity outward. When you realize this, you stop reacting with frustration and instead you begin responding with understanding. That person who lashed out at you might be dealing with something painful. That coworker who made a sarcastic comment might be struggling with their own insecurities. That stranger who was rude to you might be carrying burdens you cannot see. This does not mean you have to tolerate mistreatment, but it does mean you don't have to let their negativity disturb your inner peace. The key to never getting angry or bothered by anyone is not about changing them, it's about changing how you see them. It's about recognizing that people's words and actions are simply projections of their inner world. It's about realizing that your emotions are within your control. And no one has the power to dictate how you feel unless you give them that power. Imagine how free you would be if no one's words could upset you, if no criticism could shake you, and if no negativity could pull you down. That freedom is possible. And it starts with you. Have you ever wondered why certain people can push your buttons so easily? Why just a few words, a certain look, or a single action can completely shift your mood? It happens because whether we realize it or not, we give them that power. We hand over control of our emotions, our peace, and our happiness to people who often don't even know they're affecting us. But what if you could take that power back? What if you could reach a point where no one, no matter what they said or did, could shake you? To get there, we must first understand the real source of our frustration. Most of the time, our anger is not about what someone else did. It's about what we expected. When someone speaks rudely, we get upset because we expected kindness. When someone ignores us, we feel hurt because we expected attention. When someone disagrees with us, we feel defensive because we expected them to see things our way. But ask yourself, who created those expectations? It wasn't the other person, it was you. And when reality doesn't match the expectations we've built in our minds, we suffer. Imagine walking into a room and expecting everyone to greet you warmly, but instead, people are distracted, caught up in their own conversations. Immediately you feel invisible, maybe even disrespected. But did they actually do anything to you? No. The disappointment you feel comes from the gap between what you expected and what actually happened. Now imagine walking into that same room without any expectations, just being present, observing the energy and allowing people to be as they are. Suddenly, there's no disappointment, no frustration, no hurt. You remain at peace because you never tied your emotions to the actions of others in the first place. This applies to every interaction in life. Think about the last time you were annoyed by someone. Maybe it was a friend who didn't respond to your message, a colleague who didn't acknowledge your hard work, or a stranger who was rude to you. If you dig deep enough, you realize that the frustration wasn't just about their behavior. It was about the expectation you had that they would act differently. But what if, instead of expecting people to behave a certain way, you simply accepted them as they are? When you stop expecting people to be kind, respectful, or understanding, you stop being disappointed when they aren't. This doesn't mean you lower your standards or accept mistreatment. It simply means you no longer allow your peace to depend on whether or not others meet your expectations. You begin to free yourself from the emotional roller coaster of feeling hurt, let down, or angry because you no longer create unnecessary attachments to how others should behave. Have you ever noticed that the happiest people don't react to negativity the way others do? When someone is rude to them, they don't take it personally. When plans don't go their way, they don't let it ruin their mood. It's not that they don't care, it's that they have mastered the ability to remain unaffected by things they cannot control. And one of the greatest things we cannot control is other people. We spend so much energy trying to change people. We want them to be nicer, more understanding, more supportive, more appreciative. But the truth is we cannot force anyone to change. The only thing we can control is how we respond. If someone is rude, you can choose not to engage. If someone is dismissive, you can choose not to let it define your worth. If someone is toxic, you can choose to walk away. Every time you react negatively to someone else's behavior, you give them power over your emotions. But when you refuse to let their actions disturb your peace, you take that power back. Think about it. If a person is drowning in their own negativity, why would you jump in and drown with them? If someone is bitter, why would you let their bitterness poison your peace? If someone is unhappy, why would you let their unhappiness steal your joy? The moment you stop making other people responsible for your emotional state, you set yourself free. We also need to stop assuming that people owe us kindness, fairness, or respect. Yes, these are basic human decencies, but the reality is not everyone will live up to them, and that's okay. When we expect fairness from the unfair, kindness from the unkind, or understanding from the judgmental, we are the ones setting ourselves up for disappointment. But when we shift our mindset from expecting to accepting, everything changes. This doesn't mean you should tolerate negativity in your life. If someone is repeatedly disrespectful, you have every right to set boundaries. But the key is to set those boundaries without anger, without resentment, without allowing their behavior to disturb your peace. True strength is not in reacting, it's in not needing to react. Imagine a world where no one's words could shake you, where no insult could hurt you, where no criticism could bring you down. That world exists, but it's not outside of you, it's inside. It is created by the way you think, by the expectations you release, and by the peace you choose to protect. Because at the end of the day, the only person who can control your emotions is you. Have you ever noticed how often we take things personally? Someone makes a passing comment, and suddenly we feel attacked. A friend cancels plans, and we assume they don't care. A colleague gets promoted, and we feel overlooked. But the truth is, most of the time, what people do or say has nothing to do with us. It is a reflection of them, their mindset, their experiences, their struggles. Yet we internalize these moments as if they define us, as if they hold some great truth about our worth. But what if they don't? What if we've been carrying unnecessary burdens that were never meant for us in the first place? The moment you realize that people's actions are a reflection of them, not you, is the moment you free yourself from unnecessary pain. Think about it. When someone lashes out at you, is it truly about you? Or is it about their own frustrations, their own inner battles, their own wounds that have nothing to do with you? When someone ignores you, are they really rejecting you? Or are they dealing with something in their own life? When someone treats you unfairly, is it because you deserve it? Or because they lack the emotional maturity to act differently? We suffer so much because we take things personally, but if you step back and truly analyze the situation, you'll realize that most people are simply reacting to their own circumstances. They are not thinking about how their actions affect you. They are thinking about themselves. And this is not selfishness, it is human nature. We all do it. We all carry our own worries, insecurities, and struggles, and sometimes without even realizing it, we project them onto others. Now imagine how different your life would be if you stopped assuming that everything was about you. If, instead of feeling hurt when someone was rude, you simply saw it as their issue. If, instead of feeling rejected when someone was distant, you recognized that they might be going through something. Instead of reacting emotionally, you could respond with understanding, with indifference, or with peace. This one shift in perspective has the power to remove so much unnecessary suffering from your life. The next time someone speaks to you harshly, pause for a moment before reacting. Instead of immediately feeling offended, ask yourself, is this really about me? Or is it about them? More often than not, you will find that their behavior has nothing to do with you. It is a reflection of their own struggles, their own thoughts, their own perspective of the world. And if that's the case, why would you allow their negativity to affect your peace? Think about how much lighter your life would feel if you stopped picking up other people's baggage. Imagine walking through life unshaken, knowing that what others say or do is not a personal attack, but simply a reflection of their own journey. This is how you become unbothered. This is how you become truly free. Some people will misunderstand you, and that's okay. Some people will judge you unfairly, and that's okay. Some people will mistreat you. And while that is not acceptable, you must remember that their actions say more about them than they do about you. When you accept this truth, you no longer waste your energy trying to prove yourself, trying to get people to see you in a certain way, or trying to change their opinions. Because their opinions are theirs, they do not define you. Most of the time, when people criticize you, they are revealing their own insecurities. A person who is at peace does not go around tearing others down. A person who is truly happy does not spread negativity. A person who is confident does not feel the need to belittle others. So when someone criticizes you, instead of taking it personally, see it for what it is, a glimpse into their own struggles. This does not mean you should accept disrespect. It simply means you should stop internalizing negativity that was never yours to begin with. There is a difference between standing up for yourself and allowing someone's words to shake your inner peace. True strength is in knowing when to respond and when to simply let go. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every opinion matters. The greatest power you have is the ability to choose what affects you. You can choose to take things personally, or you can choose to see them for what they really are, momentary reflections of other people's inner world. You can choose to react, or you can choose to remain at peace. You can choose to let negativity in, or you can choose to stand so strong in your own self-worth that no one's words or actions can touch you. When you reach this level of understanding, you become untouchable. Not because people stop being negative, but because their negativity no longer has a place in your life. Not because people stop being rude, but because their rudeness no longer has the power to disturb your peace. And once you realize this, you will never again let anyone's words or actions control your happiness. One of the greatest secrets to never getting angry or bothered by anyone is to master the art of emotional detachment. Many of us go through life feeling deeply affected by the words, actions, and opinions of others. We take offense, we feel disrespected, we hold grudges, and we allow negativity to take root in our hearts. But what if I told you that you have the power to detach yourself from all of this? What if I told you that you can live in a state of emotional peace, where nothing and no one has the power to shake your inner stability? Detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean that you stop caring about people or that you become cold-hearted. Instead, it means that you develop a deep understanding of what is and what is not within your control. It means that you stop reacting impulsively and start responding with wisdom. It means that you create an invisible shield around yourself that prevents negativity from affecting your emotional well-being. When you are emotionally detached, you no longer feel the need to control how people behave or what they think of you. You stop expecting people to act in a certain way or to meet your standards of fairness, kindness, or respect. Instead, you accept people as they are, with all their flaws, shortcomings, and imperfections. This acceptance frees you from disappointment, frustration, and resentment. You begin to see the world with clear eyes, understanding that not everyone will treat you the way you treat them, and that's okay. Not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. Not everyone will appreciate your kindness, and that's okay. The root of most anger and frustration comes from expectations. We expect people to be kind, honest, and fair. We expect our efforts to be recognized. We expect respect in return for our good deeds. And when these expectations are not met, we feel hurt, betrayed, or angry. But the truth is, expectations are nothing more than illusions we create in our minds. They are based on our personal beliefs, but they do not reflect reality. The moment you release expectations, you release suffering. You begin to understand that people will act according to their nature, not according to your hopes. Imagine how peaceful life would be if you no longer needed people to behave a certain way in order for you to be happy. Imagine if you could let go of the need for external validation, for approval, for recognition. How much lighter would you feel? How much more joy would you experience if you stopped tying your happiness to other people's actions? This is the power of detachment. Detachment does not mean avoiding relationships or shutting yourself off from the world. It means engaging with people and experiences without becoming emotionally dependent on them. It means loving without clinging, helping without expecting, giving without keeping score. It means understanding that you are responsible for your own happiness, and no one else can control that unless you allow them to. When you detach, emotionally you begin to see things as they truly are. You realize that most of the time people's negative behavior is not a reflection of you, but a reflection of their own struggles. You stop taking things personally because you understand that people act based on their conditioning, their pain, their fears, and their insecurities. You no longer waste your energy trying to change people or seeking closure from those who have wronged you. You simply accept that some things are beyond your control, and you focus on what you can control: your own mind, your own reactions, your own peace. A person who has mastered detachment does not get angry over small matters. They do not waste their time in arguments that lead nowhere. They do not allow criticism or judgment to define their self-worth. They walk through life with an inner stillness, knowing that external chaos does not have to become internal chaos. They respond to negativity with understanding, or sometimes with complete silence. They do not feel the need to prove themselves to anyone because they are already secure in who they are. Many people confuse emotional detachment with weakness, but in reality, it is a sign of immense strength. It takes strength to walk away from arguments that do not serve you. It takes strength to remain calm when someone is trying to provoke you. It takes strength to let go of resentment instead of holding on to it. It takes strength to be unaffected by negativity. Detachment is not running away from problems. It is facing them with wisdom and choosing peace over unnecessary suffering. You might be wondering, how do I develop emotional detachment? The first step is to become aware of your emotional triggers. Pay attention to the situations and people that disturb your peace. Ask yourself why these things affect you so much. Often it is because they touch a wound that has not healed or challenge a belief that you hold deeply. Once you identify your triggers, practice pausing before reacting. Instead of immediately responding with emotion, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does this truly matter in the grand scheme of my life? Most of the time, the answer will be no. The second step is to remind yourself that you cannot control other people, only yourself. You cannot force someone to respect you, love you, or understand you. You cannot change people who do not want to change. What you can do is control your response. You can choose to remain calm, to let go, to walk away if necessary. When you release the need to control others, you gain the ultimate control over yourself. The third step is to cultivate inner peace through practices like mindfulness, gratitude, and self-reflection. Spend time alone to reconnect with yourself. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Strengthen your mind so that it becomes unshaken by external forces. The more you focus on your own well-being, the less power you give to others over your emotions. Life becomes so much easier when you stop allowing temporary emotions to control you. When you stop letting anger dictate your reactions. When you stop wasting your energy on people who drain you. When you detach from the need to prove yourself, to seek revenge, or to win pointless arguments. Emotional detachment does not mean you become a robot. It means you become free. Free from unnecessary stress, free from meaningless drama, free from the burden of carrying emotions that do not belong to you.